Imagine waking up tomorrow to a financial headline so explosive, so universally transformative, that it single-handedly rewrites the future of an entire nation and, more importantly, rewrites your own future in the process. What if I told you that the decades of waiting, the endless cycles of speculation and doubt surrounding the Iraqi dinar, have just reached their dramatic, unequivocal end? The moment we have all been anticipating is no longer a matter of if, but a concrete matter of when, and that when is now officially anchored to the year 2025, not by rumor, but by the most powerful financial institution in Iraq itself. The Central Bank of Iraq has broken its silence, and in a stunning move that has sent shockwaves through international monetary circles, it has publicly unveiled a comprehensive, multi-phase strategic plan for the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar, a document so profound it effectively lays the groundwork for the greatest monetary transition of the 21st century. This is the update that changes everything. This is the validation that millions of investors and observers around the globe have been patiently, and at times desperately, hoping for. For years, the narrative was controlled by third-party analysts and self-proclaimed gurus, but today, that narrative has been officially seized and authored by the primary authority, turning whispered hopes into declared state policy. The core of this revelation, the absolute cornerstone of this new reality, is the central bank's explicit and courageous admission that the current exchange rate is a relic of a bygone era, an artificial construct designed for survival during a period of immense turmoil and reconstruction, a rate that no longer reflects the staggering, almost unimaginable, intrinsic economic worth of the nation of Iraq. They have admitted what we have known all along, that the dinar is grossly, historically undervalued, and they have committed, on record, to correcting this discrepancy with a precision-engineered economic strategy. This is not a devaluation, this is a deliberate and calculated revaluation, a strategic upward adjustment designed to align the currency's international value with the colossal asset base that underpins it, a move that will unleash a tsunami of economic potential that will ripple across every sector of the Iraqi economy and beyond. The plan, which has been formally shared with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, signals Iraq's confident return to the global stage not as a nation seeking aid, but as an emerging economic powerhouse ready to claim its rightful place. The first, and most visually symbolic, step in this master plan is the imminent demonetization of the existing currency and the introduction of a new, secure, and technologically advanced series of dinar notes. This physical swap is far more than a logistical exercise, it is a powerful psychological break from the past, a deliberate act of shedding the skin of inflation and instability, and presenting the world with a new dinar that represents stability, security, and future prosperity. This process is already in its early stages, creating the necessary foundation for the monetary reset to come. But the true engine of this revaluation, the fundamental driver that will propel the dinar's value, is the strategic decision to peg the new currency directly to a diversified basket of Iraq's immense natural resources. We are talking, of course, about its vast oil reserves, but to see this solely through the lens of oil is to miss the breathtaking scope of this strategy. Iraq is sitting on one of the largest portfolios of untapped mineral and agricultural wealth on the planet, including monumental reserves of natural gas, phosphates, sulfur, and incredibly fertile land. By explicitly linking the value of the dinar to this entire portfolio of tangible, hard assets, the central bank is creating a currency with a foundation of value so solid it could rival, and potentially surpass, the strongest currencies in the Gulf region. This transforms the dinar from a simple fiat currency, based on government decree, into a virtual certificate of ownership in the actual wealth of the nation, a resource-backed currency that carries inherent, unshakable value. This strategic pivot from a managed float to a fully convertible, asset-pegged currency is the single most important factor that will facilitate the significant revaluation, moving the exchange rate by orders of magnitude to a level that truly reflects the monumental wealth and future potential of Iraq, setting the stage for an economic renaissance that will be studied for generations to come. Now, let's pull back the curtain and delve into the mechanical heart of this operation, because understanding the precise, step-by-step roadmap is what separates the informed investor from the passive observer in a moment of historic financial change. The central bank's plan is a masterclass in economic engineering, a meticulously sequenced series of phases that build upon one another with the deliberate, irreversible momentum of a tidal wave, and we are currently in the crucial, foundation-laying first phase that sets the stage for everything to come. This initial stage, which has been actively underway for the past several months, is focused on the complete dismantling of the old financial architecture, specifically the complex system of currency controls and the dinar auction mechanism that was established in the post-invasion era to stabilize the economy but ultimately became a major barrier to transparent price discovery and international investment. The strategic unwinding of this system and its seamless replacement with a modern, dynamic interbank foreign currency market is perhaps the most significant, yet underreported, development leading up to the revaluation itself. This new market allows the value of the dinar to be set by the genuine forces of supply and demand within a regulated framework, a move that has already received tacit approval from the International Monetary Fund and is creating the necessary liquidity and stability in the background to prevent volatile, uncontrollable spikes when the new rate is formally activated. Think of this phase as quietly reinforcing the foundations of a dam before releasing the floodwaters. It's a technical, behind-the-scenes process that is absolutely critical for a smooth and orderly transition. Simultaneously, the Iraqi government is executing a parallel track by passing and implementing its largest ever federal budget, a budget that strategically reduces its own operational dependency on converting dollar revenues from oil sales into dinars at the old, artificial rate. This is a profound shift in fiscal policy. By breaking this direct, devaluing link between government spending and the currency rate, they are effectively removing a massive structural weight that has been anchorically holding down the dinar's true value for decades. The second phase, which is scheduled to gain full momentum throughout 2024 and reach its crescendo in 2025, is the public-facing, operational core of the entire revaluation event, and this is where the physical currency swap we discussed earlier converges with a powerful new financial instrument. This is the phase where the new dinar notes will become the sole legal tender, but the real driver of value appreciation here is the formal and legally mandated linkage of the new currency to a resource-backed sovereign wealth fund, a model famously and successfully employed by economic powerhouses like Kuwait, Qatar, and Norway. A legislated percentage of every single dollar earned from Iraq's oil and gas exports will be funneled directly into this sovereign fund, which will then be strategically invested in a diversified global portfolio of assets, including stable government bonds, blue-chip stocks, prime international real estate, and, most importantly, substantial gold reserves. The value of the dinar will then be explicitly and transparently pegged to the per capita share of this rapidly growing, internationally invested sovereign wealth fund. This mechanism creates a self-reinforcing economic virtuous cycle, as oil and gas revenues flow into the fund, and as the fund's global investments appreciate, the underlying asset base supporting each dinar in circulation grows, mechanically and inexorably driving its value upward. A stronger dinar immediately boosts the purchasing power of the Iraqi government, allowing for massive infrastructure projects, social programs, and economic diversification without the burden of crippling foreign debt, which in turn strengthens the domestic economy, increases global investor confidence, and attracts further foreign direct investment, creating even more demand for the dinar and propelling its value even higher. This is the engine of the revaluation, a perfectly designed feedback loop of national wealth creation. The final, crowning phase of this grand strategy, targeted for 2026, is the pursuit of international reserve currency status through inclusion in the International Monetary Fund Special Drawing Rights Basket, an achievement that would place the Iraqi dinar in the most elite league of global currencies alongside the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Japanese yen, and the Chinese renminbi. This status is not merely ceremonial, it would compel central banks, institutional investors, and sovereign wealth funds worldwide to hold Iraqi dinars as a fundamental part of their foreign exchange reserves, creating a tsunami of permanent, structural demand that would permanently cement the dinar's new, elevated value for generations to come. So, here we stand, at the precipice of a new dawn, with the official blueprint now in our hands and the path forward illuminated with a clarity we have never possessed before. The central question for you, the global investor, has now irrevocably shifted. It is no longer a question of faith or a test of patience, wondering if this day would ever come. The sovereign nation of Iraq, through its most trusted financial institution, has now answered that question with a resounding and definitive yes. The paradigm has not just shifted, it has been completely overturned. We have officially transitioned from the long, uncertain season of speculation into the decisive era of execution, where the risks are no longer about the if but are now strategically centered on the how you will navigate the logistics, how you will manage the information flow, and how you will prepare yourself mentally and financially for the life-altering wealth transfer that is now set in motion by this official state policy. This is the moment where your role transforms from a passive holder into an active wealth manager, and the single most critical asset you possess in this transitional phase is not just the currency in your vault, but the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the information you consume. The initial reaction across the global landscape will be a complex and volatile mix of pure elation from the long-term holders, stunned disbelief from the entrenched skeptics who will scramble to find flaws in the flawless logic of a sovereign national bank, and a frantic, tidal wave of new, inexperienced investors driven by a powerful fear of missing out, who will pour into the market with little understanding of the intricate process that lies ahead. This is where your years of patience grant you an almost unassailable advantage. You have the precious gift of time to prepare calmly and methodically, to secure your currency holdings with reputable and established dealers, to establish relationships with international banks that will facilitate the exchange process, and, most importantly, to craft a meticulous, personal plan for the stewardship of the capital that will soon be under your command. Do not, for a single moment, underestimate the absolute necessity